So what would you say to a pastor that have members in their church who are dealing with so many issues of drugs while they're doing praise and worship? Some children that go to Sunday school are being molested. How would you pinpoint, what would you say would be a sign for a member that's really in trouble or dealing with the struggle?
I would definitely tell the leaders to really watch who comes into your ministry, and also observe, because you'll notice changes in people. You know, you might notice change the consistency of attendance of going to church. You might have someone that's going consistently for like a month or two, and then like they slack off and won't come for a while. I would also say observe who isolates themselves from everyone else in church. You might have a group of people in the corner talking, and that one person's on the side. But I would really say just watch and notice changes in behavior. Notice who is fellowship with other people, who is talkative, and those who are quiet and, you know, stay reserved to themselves. So I'll definitely tell the leaders to watch that. You know, because a lot of people who come to church are just searching for that one person to talk to, but don't know who to talk to.
Have you ever experienced being in church or sitting on the pew wishing someone would come to talk to you?
Definitely, definitely. For me, it was like a deep cry on the inside, and I was like, I just want someone to talk to tell someone what I'm going through. I didn't have the courage to, and it was a lot of shame, you know, for me to tell people, hey, I was molested. Hey, I went through this. You know, can you please help me? You know, it was definitely a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. It was fear of rejection. You know, I felt like people would look at me different and would look down on me because I was gay, because I was molested, especially by a woman. You know, it was a lot of fear and rejection in that. So I would definitely tell leaders just to watch and observe.
So from you going to this women's group, do you say now that you're free, have you conquered your giant, or have you overcome the issues that you were struggling with?
I definitely did. One thing for me, I wanted so bad to tell my mom and my dad what I went through. I just felt like I couldn't, because I felt that they were going to reject me. How would they look at their daughter, the fact that she was gay? You know, but I overcame, and I told them. Once I started going to Wounded Women, I finally told my parents, and I feel free. I don't feel ashamed anymore. I don't feel like I have anything to hide anymore. You know, God allowed me to go through what I went through for a reason, you know, and he delivered me from that lifestyle. You know, so there's no reason for me to walk with my head held down anymore. There's no reason for me to feel like people are going to look down on me. And if you do, that's your problem. But God has saved me, and he delivered me from a lot of things. You know, so I don't feel ashamed. I've overcome it. I was honest. I don't feel angry anymore. I feel free. I feel like a huge burden has been lifted off my shoulders. You know, so that's my experience.
And what would you say to women that's in ministry that is dealing with lesbianism or homosexuality, or a child that has been molested or being molested? What would you say to them to encourage them that they also can come out of the closet and take the mask off and be free? What would you say to them?
The first thing I would say, because for me, I got to a point where I actually thought I was born gay. What I would say to them is, number one, is you weren't born that way. Excuse me. God didn't create you that way. But I also let them know that you can come out of it, but you have to want to be free. For me, it got to a point where, even though I did enjoy my life as a lesbian, I felt, for me personally, it wasn't worth me going to hell. And I felt like, you know what, God has done so much for me already. You know, that's the least I could do for him, is to get my life together. So as much as I enjoyed going my lifestyle, what I was doing, it wasn't worth me losing my soul. Too many people are dying each and every day. And for me, I didn't want God to say, you know, Linda, you could have made it into heaven, but you kept on doing what you wanted to do. You know, so for me, I got to the point, I said, you know what, God, change my desires and take it away from me. And I don't want to be gay anymore. This is not who you created me. You created me to be a woman. I was dressing like a guy, walking like a guy, acting like a guy, but you made me a woman. You know, so for me, I would just say, you know what, you have to be honest with God and say, God, I do enjoy doing what I'm doing, but for you, I'm willing to do anything. So change me. You know, change my desires, the way I think, change what I look at. I had desires to look at women still as I was going to church, but I asked God to help me to turn my eyes away. When I would walk down the street, when I would be in church, wherever I was, I would say, just turn my eyes away. So I would just say, be honest and pray and ask God. You know, the Bible says that he delights in your honest prayer. You can't lie. You can lie to people, but you can't lie to God. He already knows. You know, so I would just say, be honest with God and just tell him to change your desires. Make me brand new. I don't want to be that same old person I was before.
Right.
So and just you can come out of anything. Lesbianism, homosexuality, being a drug addict, but you have to want to be free.
Right.
So that's what I would say. You can come out. You have to want to. You have to want to.
And for you, Ramona, what would you say to someone who feels like they have to fit in? that they must fit in briefly, to fit into society. What would you say, and even in the church world, for someone that feels like they must fit in by compromising their true self? What would you say, real brief?
I would say to just accept who you are, because God created you as you are, and to be happy with who you are, to begin to love yourself. And that's one thing I didn't mention. What I learned through Wounded Women was to love myself, to appreciate who God has made, and He made me the way that I am. A lot of people may view me differently, but that's okay, because that's their opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. And that's one of the things, is not to get caught up on people's opinion of me. As long as I know who I am and I begin to love myself, then it really doesn't matter what anyone thinks of me. And that's one point that I got to, where I really began to be happy with myself. And that first meeting, once I released it, it was real weird, because I really didn't know what to expect coming in. But when I first said it, I felt like this burden that lifted off of me, and I felt like, oh, now I can relax. Now I can be me. And then it began to say, then I began to think, okay, well, who is Mona? And then God began to reveal who I was, who He created me to be, and that I was fine with everything that I had. So I would say just to love yourself and to appreciate who God made. And no matter what anyone else say, love yourself.
And could you tell us where is this Wounded Women's Healed group at, and the address and the times that you meet, real quick?
We meet at 125 Barrett Street, which is located in Trenton. It starts at 7:30, and it's every Thursday. And we accept any ages, any denominations. Everyone is free to come.
Okay, we just thank you for coming and sharing.
Thank
God
you for
bless
having
you,
me.
and we're
Thank
so
you.
glad that you are free.
Thank you.
You're welcome.